Jaylen Brown deserves your respect. This man has seen all the negative hate from Celtics fans and from the public media, starting way back last year when they had some troubles with his left hand and some turnovers in the playoffs. Then he's had to deal with the negative backlash for being the most played player in the NBA and not being worth that contract according to some fans, and also being hated on for his dunk contest. But this man has proved everybody wrong and is blossoming as a star, as he is a great offensive tool, a great defender locking up your best player, and is a two-way player that is an elite two-way player in this league. We're going to be diving in, looking at how impactful Jaylen Brown is for this Celtics squad, proving that he is a star for this team, and in the last recent games, turning up for this squad. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. But before we keep diving in and talking about the star in Jaylen Brown, 78% of you guys that watch our videos are not subscribed. And to the thousands of you guys that watch our videos that want to make sure you stay up to date on daily Boston Celtics news, coverage, and videos like this, hit that subscribe button as you don't want to miss these videos. But let's dive in, getting into this news. Make sure to grab a snack as it is going to be a jam-packed episode as we dive in looking at Jaylen Brown being a star. And I know some Celtics fans don't appreciate Jaylen Brown for what he does, but I'm going to dive in. If you're a Celtics fan, if you're an actual NBA fan, we're going to dive in and look and show how impactful this man is for this team. And last night, he absolutely balled out versus the New York Knicks, playing at an efficient level scoring on this team. And you can say there was no Julius Randle, there was no OG Anunoby to stop them. But Jaylen Brown still being able to do this regardless of who his opponent is absolutely fantastic. Earlier this week, we broke down a stat looking at how Jaylen Brown is the most effective in the entire NBA at 58% of shooting fadeaway mid-rangers. He excels at what his game is, and we're here to prove that. Let's look at Jaylen Brown's stats from the last two games, both of these games being post-All-Star break, where the Celtics both got wins versus the Bulls and versus the Knicks. He shot 54% last night and 58% from the Bulls, even better. From three-point range, he shot 60% versus the Bulls, 33% versus the Knicks, but the three-point is not his game. We'll dive into that. Free throw percentage, not that great last night, but versus the Bulls, 66%. But look at those other stats. 8 rebounds, 5 rebounds. Total of 8 assists, 3 versus the Knicks, 5 versus the Bulls. 1 total block, 2 total steals, and 51 points combined. 30 points last night and 21 points versus the Chicago Bulls. And if we want to look at his season stats as well for the year, we can see that he's doing everything better than his career averages. Obviously, he's putting up more points, averaging 22 compared to his career average of 18. He's averaging 5.5 rebounds, which is 0.3 total rebounds better than his 5.2, and he's averaging a full assist better, playing with better players, obviously, and Kristaps, Porzingis, Derrick, White, and Jrue Holiday get that ball, but he's also averaging 1.4 more assists. He's also shooting at 2% better, almost at 50% from the field, and yes, his three-point percentage is a little down this year, but like I mentioned, Jaylen Brown isn't an effective three-point shooter, and we'll dive into that when we explore his game. 71% from the free throw, that is something he can improve on, and I am willing to admit that is a little bit of his weakness. But Jaylen Brown's strong suit isn't, scoring these threes and being that high prolific scorer for the Boston Celtics. His main goal for the Celtics team is attacking in transition and being that transition scorer. Attacking with that full energy, wanting to drive to the rack, putting those dunks on those people like he's done throughout the whole season, dunking on Rudy Gobert like we've seen at the TD Garden and on the road. Jaylen Brown is a menace when attacking the paint, and we saw that last night as well. Just driving, attacking, hitting that mid-range shot as well, feeling comfortable in that mid-range shot as well. Like, that's what we want to see out of our superstar players, not them overreaching and overstepping, especially when you have other guys like Porzingis, White, Holiday, who can do those other things. We don't need Jaylen Brown to be that effective three-point shooter when we have the best corner three-point shooter in the entire league in Jrue Holiday, and Derrick White and Jayson Tatum, who both excel at three-point shooting. Jaylen Brown can specialize in what he does well, which is attacking the rim, shooting the mid-range, and playing defense and locking up your best player. And if you want to look at Jaylen Brown's stats and, kind of like hate on him a little bit, we're going to look at his whole stats throughout his entire career to show you that he's been improving throughout his whole entire career. Obviously, he started off with, not the greatest on a point totals, but then he went up to 14, 13, and you can see every year it went increasing. And obviously last season he had a little bit more better stats, but that's because he didn't have as good of a team around him that he's had this season. As obviously we saw and we mentioned in this video, Kristaps Porzingis has been a great addition and a great versatile piece for Jaylen Brown in that pick and roll, but also just for the Celtics offense and defense as in total, being a great shot blocker and a great post player and being a great three-point shooter as well. We also saw Derrick White have some great improvements to his playmaking and his shot creation, being a better scorer, putting up all-star-like numbers for the Celtics this year. And we also saw a guy in Jrue Holiday come in, be a defensive specialist, and like I mentioned, the best corner three-point shooter in the entire NBA. So that's what I'm saying. Guys like Jaylen Brown can have a little bit less in stats this year because he has better players overall, and as long as he's getting those other counting stats and rebounds up, steals up, blocks up, even assists, that is what you want to see because he's still developing his game and still getting better. And that's the one thing that I don't like to see when Jaylen Brown plays bad, is because when Jaylen Brown has these bad games, the fans want to call out and hate him and get very, very down on him. But every player has a bad game, and you know what I mean? Jaylen Brown has been playing phenomenal for the Celtics team. If we want to keep diving in too as well, look at his last game, like I mentioned, last night versus the versus the Chicago Bulls, where he put up 7 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 4 for 8 from free throw with 21 points and a plus 19. And if we want to look at his game versus the Knicks last night, 30 points plus 15 with 8 total rebounds and 13 for 24 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3. Like I mentioned, doesn't excel at the three-pointer, but still a plus 15. And as you can see, Kristaps Porzingis had 22 points. Tatum had 19 in this game. And if we want to look back at the Bulls game, you can see that Tatum had 25. You can also see that White had 28. So you can see that the Celtics have different players in different games tune up as well. Last night, it was more Porzingis and Tatum. The night before that, it was White and Tatum. So Brown can kind of fill in there, be that second or third guy when he's needed to be, and even some nights be that number one overall guy. Versus the Bulls, he had that second quarter where it was his total quarter in control. And then last night, he had most of the first half in control as he put up 20 points in total in the first half. And if we want to look at some more stats as well, if you don't want to back it up, looking at his advanced stats, we can see he's a top 90 percentile in offensive game, leading in load and creation, which means he's able to create other opportunities for his other star players in Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, Jayson Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, by giving them the assists and giving them the rebounds. And on the defensive side of the ball, excelling in rim defense and versatility, being able to guard any player basically 1 through 5 and guarding your team's best player. And that is essentially going to help out the Boston Celtics deeper when they get into the playoffs, because if a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's wanted to make all defensive first team this year and has proclaimed that since the start, can guard players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, can guard players like Anthony Edwards, can guard players like Paul George, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and switch off of them and be able to, guard other players on those teams as well, that will help the Boston Celtics out tremendously, because then other guys like White and Jrue Holiday and Jayson Tatum can, still be aggressive on that defensive side of the ball. But if they're excelling at offense that game, they can take a little bit load off on the defensive side and still be able to help out and contribute to this Celtics team. All in all, I do believe that Jaylen Brown and this hate needs to stop. He's still not the highest player in the NBA anymore. Anthony Davis passed him that 2 weeks basically after he signed that contract extension. So that's not to be said anymore. Jaylen Brown is a key contributor for this Celtics squad. Some nights, yes, he's the third best player. Some nights he's the fourth best player. But every night for the Celtics, a guy is like that. Regardless if it's Porzingis, regardless if it's Derrick White, regardless if it's Jrue Holiday. And yes, he is making around $30 million, so you expect him to be that superstar. But on most nights, he is going to be a 2 or 3 scorer for you, and that's all you can ask for. Especially with the Celtics playing less selfish this year, and as more as a team, this team is ready to buy in for their championship window, and Jaylen Brown is willing to take the role of being a transition scorer and being your best team's defender to help the Celtics win. And one last thing before I hop off, with Celtics Twitter and Celtics fans, the one thing that I do not see a lot is Jaylen Brown getting his praise when he plays good, but Jaylen Brown getting his slander when he plays bad. With players like White, though, or Jrue Holiday, or even Tatum, when they play bad, not getting any slander. And for Celtics fans, I want to say that you need to stop doing that, because Jaylen Brown deserves all the respect that all the other Celtics players deserve. He still is a great player on this team, and he still gets as many playing time as all those other guys as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest, where I broke down why Jaylen Brown deserves your respect. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.